The Amazing Spider-Man vs. the Kingpin was released for Sega Genesis in 1991. Then in 1993, the same game was released for Sega CD. Both games were developed by Technopop and Sega. So, what's the difference? One major difference on the Sega CD is the inclusion of animated cutscenes. Gone are the stills and text of the Genesis game, completely replaced by animated cutscenes. They're not amazing by any means, and are a bit laughable today.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do while I'm gone, Bubbles. And give my regards to the police.
But it's a nice break in the action, and some of these voice actors are from the old Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Good work, Spider-Man. It's a good thing you came along when you did.
Citizens of New York, it is my painful duty to make you aware.
And these cutscenes happen a lot. After every boss fight, and even after the game over screen, which changes depending on how you die. And yes, you can skip the cutscenes if you want. Very helpful if you keep getting that game over screen. Another major difference between these games is the gameplay. The Sega CD game is much faster than the Genesis version. Just look how slow crawling can be. It's a lot easier on Sega CD too. You don't have to hold down the jump button to stick to walls anymore. Spider-Man just sticks automatically. And you can even bank around corners. Can't do that on Genesis. These improvements make you actually want to wall crawl in this game. Some exclusive special attacks were added as well, but they're a bit hard to execute. The Sega CD version also did get rid of some things. Photography for one. You no longer need to take photos to make money for web fluid. Web fluid is much more available on the Sega CD, so that's one less thing you need to worry about. Resting in your apartment is gone too, as life is more available as well. Another way the gameplay has changed is the more open world approach. The Genesis game has you move from level to level, just like any action platformer, but the Sega CD version lets you choose where you want to go, and there are many places to go on this big map of New York. The few big levels on Genesis have been replaced by many short levels on Sega CD, and the Sega CD levels have been redesigned too. Some levels are crucial to the story, but some are just there for power-ups and to collect comic books. Also included are some exclusive levels and exclusive bosses. Another major difference is the music. It's been completely replaced on Sega CD. Once again, Sega CD goes hair metal with a soundtrack by Spencer Nielsen. He previously did the music in Sonic CD and Batman Returns. There's even a track with Eric Martin from Mr. Big. The sound effects have been replaced too. Most notable is Getting Hit. On Genesis, it's just a regular hit sound effect. On Sega CD, it's Spider-Man or someone screaming. It's a bit ridiculous and reminds me of Kung Fu on NES. So, is it worth it? Absolutely. The Sega CD version improves on everything the Genesis game did. New cutscenes, improved controls, and an updated soundtrack. There's even a password system that the Genesis game doesn't have. And Spider-Man Pinball, anyone? But there are a couple of issues. One is loading. This is a big game with a lot going on, so you're going to run into loading screens a lot. They're relatively fast, but they can ruin the flow of gameplay. Another problem, and this is a big one, is the possibility of the game freezing. I got a used copy of this game, so it came with some scratches. This caused my game to freeze during some cutscenes, and I had to reset.
Take it away, another. You'll have to go to the sewer and take it away, another. You'll have to go to the sewer and take it away, another. You'll have to go to the sewer and take it away.
Let's just say it's a good thing this game has passwords. So if you buy the game used, be careful. Other than that, this is a fantastic game, much improved over the original. It's definitely the version to buy, and it's not too expensive, so definitely give this version a try.
Save this city.